Natalie Decker come on and perform an original spoken word, please.
Hi, my name is Natalie Decker, and today I'm going to be performing an original spoken word. I just felt like, after talking to some teachers and some students, that I should give a trigger warning before this spoken word. I'm getting serious, folks. If you are sensitive to issues involving rape culture, sexual assault, depression, and suicide, this might not be the piece for you. While I don't go in depth and nothing is very graphic, I just felt like I had to. No. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. It's easy to see someone on the news and think that you would have known what to do. I sat there, staring at the TV, thinking, that would never happen to me. Because I am strong, as a woman should be. I love myself and would protect my body. But sometimes that isn't always up to us. Because life isn't fair. Life isn't just, and so sometimes, no matter the feminist words that we speak, it can be harder to practice what we preach. It was winter. The year was 2016, watching Star Wars, trying to decide if I should scream, pulling my hand away, only to get it put right back. The feminist that I thought I was, shriveled up and cracked on a couch, in a basement, in a room full of friends. I whisper no and think that your advances will end, but the word no must not be in your lexicon, and everything that I thought I knew turned out to be wrong because I didn't want to embarrass you. I didn't want to make a big scene because you were my boyfriend. And that would be mean, and I was scared that you would leave me and take all of my self-worth with you. I wanted it to stop, but I didn't want to create a big issue. I hear my friends whisper, giggle, and I feel my face flush. What would they do if they knew this wasn't just? When I finally told them, they called my bluff. I think you just didn't say no hard enough. Soon looking at me made them sick because my situation was something that they would rather forget. My own facts turned into fiction, and I blamed myself because now all of my friends were gone. And I had to process this by myself. I wish that I hadn't said anything, that I shouldn't have said a single word. Looking back now, this seems completely absurd, but I was alone and told that I was in the wrong, and I was left broken, used up, violated, and no longer strong. I let my abuser off the hook and blamed myself for a crime that I did not commit. So don't you dare tell me to just get over it, like somehow those words would mask the friends that I lost and the abuser I gained, like somehow those words would make me forget that these were not your typical teenage growing pains. Soon looking in the mirror became a chore because I didn't recognize myself anymore. During class, I started writing notes about how I made myself sick. I had made up my mind I was going to end it. These are the thoughts that went through my head. And I honestly can't tell you why I didn't end up dead. So when you tell me that rape culture doesn't exist, your ignorance and your blindness make me physically sick because it took me 764 days to come to terms with what happened to me, and people like you only make that healing happen even more slowly. And I know that what I've said today will paint me in a very different light, but I need that scared 16-year-old in the audience to understand that they will be all right. I will shout it from the rooftops and let no one forget that our culture is wrong, and we have to fight it because no one should go through the things that I've known. Everyone's body should feel like their own, and I hope that you think of me when you feel alone, because there is always someone there for you when you're feeling this way, and you aren't at fault, no matter what they say. So sure, you can try to tell me that rape culture doesn't exist, but you have to understand why my answer is so. You have to understand me when say no.